Okay, amazing. Thank you. Okay, good morning. Welcome to our workshop today. Let me turn off the music. Okay, so let's dive right in. It's so wonderful to see you all here. I know it's summertime. It's hard to prioritize and find time to be on things like this. Hi, Lynette. Nice to see you. But it's so great to connect. It's been a while. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen because I had to stop it. Okay. So we're going to be a lovely small group today. I know a lot of people will be tuning in on the replay. And hi, Rennie. Okay, I want to see your faces, so I'm pulling you up on the side. So reclaim your energy and overcome emotional exhaustion. So let's jump right in. I've got a slideshow for us today, but really, you know me, and what lights me up the most and what I feel is really the most important is getting into the experience. So we've got some slides to go through. We're not going to spend a whole ton of time on them because I want you to have an experience of nourishing your body, your mind, and your soul while you're here in this workshop. This is the whole point. I'm actually going to make the assumption that everybody here knows everything that they need to know already about feeling emotionally overwhelmed, feeling like, right, like you just are being pulled in so many directions and life is so full, or just that like the weight of emotions are heavy. And so you don't necessarily need more information about that. I have some information. We're going to go through it quickly. But what has likely called you here is that pull towards wanting some relief, right? Wanting to feel present and grounded in the moment and happy and more joy. So I would actually love for you to share, if you want to unmute or share in the chat, what drew you to this workshop today. Anyone would like to share, and you can pop it in the chat or you can unmute. We're a small group, whatever feels best. While that's happening, I can share why I created this workshop. Because of course, we teach what we have been through or what we're going through. And I feel like this time right now, I've been calling it the reckoning because it really feels like things that are out of alignment cannot stay out of alignment anymore. And so for some people, this is health. For some, it's relationships. For some, it's finances. For some, it's work and career. And for some, it's like a reckoning with ourselves, right? Years of emotions that I haven't tended to. And so I've been really feeling this energy of, wow, like in this energy of reckoning where it's like I'm having to face all of these things to come into alignment and really align with my values. It has felt quite exhausting at times. You know, I'm also a mom. I've got 2 small kids. Oh, I should maybe introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I have my business, right? And so I'm a highly advanced tapping practitioner. I'm a trauma recovery and clarity coach. So a lot of my energy goes into my clients, right? Goes into my business. So I have been feeling like, wow, this is a reckoning for me to remember where are my priorities? How am I putting myself first? And really coming back into alignment for myself because there's always another level of that, right? Maura says, I just loved my last experience and I have had some stress and need to let go. Okay, amazing, beautiful. And it looks like Lynette is typing, but I'm not sure. Would anyone else like to share? Lynette, I'm really pretty settled emotionally right now, but I do go through hiccups along the way and I love to learn with you, Laura. Okay, yay. I'm so glad you're feeling so settled right now. This is so great. So, you know, just a recognition that we're all on our own path and all on our own journeys. And there's always an opportunity for us to put more tools in our tool belt, right? Judy says, I can totally relate to emotional exhaustion as that is how I feel in my life. Yeah, still dealing with grief and have now had other family issues come up that are pulling me in. And I think that's supposed to say not coping well. Okay, beautiful awareness. We're going to talk about awareness today. Thank you for sharing, everybody. So welcome. I want to acknowledge, I want to respectfully acknowledge that I work and live on the traditional unceded territories and ancestral territories of the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam nations. I recognize and respect that as nations in this territory, as nations in this territory, as well as their connection to the lands and the waters around us since time immemorial. I live here in North Vancouver, BC, on this incredible greenbelt. Literally, I am here, I can show you, surrounded, I don't know if you can see the trees, by beautiful cedar trees and animal life. And so I'm so grateful to live where we do. We're very lucky. So I'm not going to go through too much about what we're going to do today. We're going to go through some slides and then we're going to have an experience. Okay. So I'd love for everyone to set an intention for what you would like to get out of this experience. So you can write it down, or you can, write it in your heart. You can put it in the chat. Just close your eyes, take a moment. I'm going to read Chantel's comment here. She says, I'm always so busy making sure that everyone else is doing well, being there for them. But along the way, I also get hurt or unattended to, and I feel that I'm stretched, holding it all together for everyone, and I'm about to break. So this comes at a perfect time. Yeah, camera off because I will be bawling. Beautiful. So tears, super efficient way to move energy through the body. So I love that. Let them flow. So set your intention. So at the end of this hour together, how would you like to feel? Easy peasy. Yeah. Maura says, I can relate to this, Chantel. Hugs. Big hugs, totally. So just taking a moment to take a breath into the heart. What would be an amazing outcome for you at the end of this hour? Lynette, I'd like to continue to feel beautifully emotionally centered and be that mirror for those who know and or work with me. Beautiful. Yeah, love that. Okay. So emotional exhaustion. Yeah, Judy, her intention is to feel some relief. Okay. So emotional exhaustion. What is this anyway? So this tends to come after prolonged periods of stress. Newsflash, we live in a stressful world. Things are kind of stressful all the time. A lot of people have either a low, medium, or even high level stress running in the background of their lives all the time. So where once upon a time, this, term stress was very clearly indicative of, very specific feelings. It evoked this feeling of like, oh yeah, something really major must be going on. Well, now we just live in stress all the time. So most people are in some sort of state of exhaustion a lot of the time, I'm going to say. Prolonged periods of intense emotions. And intense emotions can be emotions that we feel and emotions that we're choosing not to, which means if there are repressed emotions from experiences from your past, from childhood, they are running a frequency in the background of your life. They are having an impact in every single aspect of your body, your being, your mind, your heart, your soul, your spirit. Everything is being impacted. And so when it says intense emotions, it's ones that we're feeling and ones that we, for whatever reason, have not felt safe or willing to feel. Excessive demands on our emotional resources. So like Chantel was saying in her comment, she's always giving to other people and she feels like she's the one that people come to and then she gets depleted, right? It's beautiful, Maura and Chantel. Okay, I'm going to read those in a sec. So all of these things together or separate can lead to a feeling of emotional exhaustion. And just like trauma, which is an inside job, which means two people can have a similar or the same looking traumatic experience and yet make completely different meanings of it, it's the same with emotional exhaustion. From the outside world, someone might look at your life and think, well, what are you emotionally exhausted about? You look like you have everything. You look like you're doing great. What's your problem, right? It's an inside job. It can't be quantitated, if that's a word, or put on a measured, because it's how we are perceiving our experience and how we are seeing the world. So you might feel emotionally defeated, defeated. I didn't even put defeated there. Overwhelmed, depleted in sense of your energy, difficulty managing or regulating your emotions. So like really quick to anger, really quick to sadness, impatient, emotionally drained, mentally fatigued, lacking motivation or enthusiasm, burnt out, quick to erupt. So Chantel has set her intention as she wants to feel stronger, grounded, and rebalanced, and more present for those I love, and ability to let go of that which does not serve me. Love that. Okay, so some triggers. We already talked about these. Chronic stress, an overwhelming workload, high pressure environments, lots of emotional demands, traumatic experiences, lack of boundaries. So boundaries are more than just, saying no. There's an energetic aspect to our boundaries, and things are constantly siphoning our energy. Neglecting self-care, unresolved emotions, high expectations of ourselves. And so often when there's this need to overgive or be really perfect or show up for everybody, it tends to come from a place of, am I enough? Am I worth it? Am I worthy of being here? And so when we heal that worthiness wound, we no longer feel that compulsion to do everything for everyone. And in fact, what tends to happen, which is so freaking powerful and beautiful, like Lynette talked about, she wants to walk around in this world being a mirror. We become a mirror to other people of their own personal power. So instead of doing for people all the time, we see the power in people to do for themselves because we are in our power of doing for ourselves. It's incredibly important work to do. Other triggers, fear of vulnerability. So if we are afraid to seek support or express how we're feeling, ask for help, this is going to, like, things are going to build up, right? Like a pot boiling over. And then of course, if we feel like we don't have the support, we don't have a way to process what we're going through, that can lead to emotional exhaustion. Yeah, Chantel says it would be nice to not feel guilty about saying no. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go there. So some of the impacts that you perhaps are already feeling, this can impact, like I said, all aspects of our lives. So physical health, your sleep might be impacted. You might feel more tired. Emotional exhaustion means that like you're exhausted emotionally, which means you're going to be exhausted physically. There's energy draining from you. You've got energy leaks. This can also weaken your immune system. So you might find that you get sick more often, you catch every cold the kids bring home, that kind of thing. Mental health, you might be feeling depressed, anxious, burnt out. You might also feel like you have reduced brain function, like, oh my gosh, where did my memory go? Or lack of being able to focus for long periods of time. In your relationships, you might feel like your connections are strained. I know for me, when I was going through this period of feeling emotionally exhausted, I was really quick to be impatient with Alex. I just wanted him to know what I needed in every moment. It actually felt exhausting to try to express or explain to him, like, this is what I'm going through and this is what I feel like I need. And so that, of course, impacted, and vice versa, right? It goes back and forth between in our relationships. Decreased empathy, right? So you might find somebody else is seeking support from you, and you're like, I don't have it in me. My tank is freaking empty. I'm sorry. I can't feel for you today. And decreased understanding. Work performance, if you work, it might be reduced productivity, like you just can't get all your work done. You're making silly mistakes. You're feeling unsatisfied. Yeah, more menopause and mental energy focus sucks for sure. Right. So, and also that recognition that we're multifaceted people. There's multiple things happening. Right. And so we need to be willing to, look at each thing and sort of like work on each thing. And I don't say work. I hate saying work because it's not like I want to add anything to your plate. We're not adding. We want to shift. We're shifting here. Okay. So emotional well-being, overwhelm, diminished resilience, reduced life satisfaction. All these things can happen because we feel emotionally exhausted, which means once we feel emotionally replenished, all of these things are naturally going to improve. And then our quality of life, we might feel less engaged. We don't feel as motivated to go after our goals, right? Less satisfaction in life. So I'm just keeping an eye on the time, but I think we're good. So are you emotionally overwhelmed? Are you just in need of a vacation? Because this is an important awareness to have, right? Like Lynette knows I'm not emotionally overwhelmed, but I'm here to receive because I know I'm going to receive here and I'm always open for that, right? So I invite you to take a look at this list and just go down each one. We're just going to be here for a minute and just keep a mental tally, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just notice how many of these you feel like you identify with. Okay, Chantel says 17. So you can share your number or you can keep it to yourself. Are we good? Can I keep going? 20. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. It's not like if you checked this many, then you are this. There's none of that. This is just about awareness, right? This is an awareness exercise. Judy stopped counting. Okay. So this is simply about activating awareness because awareness is power. Without awareness, we stay stuck in our cycles. This is the truth. I mean, there's other steps after awareness, but we need to start here. So it helps us recognize and validate our experience. So you can ask yourself, does 20 on that list feel like a lot? Does 20 feel like, okay, it's time to really shift my focus here? 17, is it time to really shift my focus? Lost track, right? It's activating an invitation to do something about it, right? So awareness helps us validate our experiences, gain a deeper understanding of our well-being, and empowers us to take ownership and make choices. So without that, like I said, we're unlikely to take the action that supports our highest and best good. And so we're straight up missing out on personal growth, and we're missing out on healing. Lynette says, when I take time to get up early enough to have alone time and do my morning ritual and practice of tapping, I have very few triggers and feel grounded and settled. Me too. Like night and day. It's such a huge difference. Yeah. By being aware of how we're really doing, we're then in the driver's seat of what to do moving forward. And this is gold when we know this, right? Okay. And here's the thing, it all happens in the body. This is not a mind activity. This is a body activity. We will bring the mind into it, but we start with the body, right? It's the body that feels emotionally exhausted and that's telling us. It's like the check engine light on the car is flashing every time you get in that car. It's saying, stop ignoring me. And just like with your car, you don't keep driving, right? Like you don't keep going on that empty tank. You do something about it, or on that with the check engine light on. So all of our experiences, including emotional overwhelm, they manifest within. Our bodies hold the physical sensations, the tensions, and the imprints of our emotions. So to effectively heal and address our emotional overwhelm, we got to get in the body. And so I'm obviously very passionate about this and using somatic tools and processes that engage within the body. This is going to help us shed those tears, release those stored emotional imprints, create alignment, restore balance, and it will leave us feeling, I guarantee you, like you can truly co-create the life that you want now because you've stepped aside. So working with the body, we can tap into its innate wisdom because you have it in there already. We foster healing from the inside out, and we cultivate this greater sense of well-being. So this is not medical advice. This is not to say that you should not seek professional support should you need it, or medical support should you need it. But I will tell you from all of my training, from my experience, and also from my own life experience, talk therapy alone is unlikely to really free someone. The science corroborates it. I'm highly trained in cognitive behavioral therapy from my years as a social worker in child welfare. And I can tell you that there's an astounding amount of research out now about how much more EFT tapping is effective for helping people overcome PTSD, so complex traumas, and of course, emotional overwhelm, and just, you don't need to have complex trauma to be able to use these tools. But because cognitive behavioral therapy happens in the mind, it's about transforming our thoughts. It has severe limitations, and it takes a significant amount of time to affect that change with CBT. So we got to get in the body. The human body is not an instrument to be used, but a realm of one's being to be experienced, explored, enriched, and thereby educated. Oops, I forgot to put the person's name. And I can't remember his name. Okay, so somatic practices like tapping, meditation, breath work, mindful movement, yoga are more effective than talk therapy alone. They're beautiful complements to it. So you can do both. It's not one or the other. So really quickly here, tapping, also known as emotional freedom techniques. Oop, that's an error. Techniques. A powerful tool for emotional healing, for energy restoration. And so the way it works is we combine elements of traditional Chinese medicine with modern psychology. So we speak out loud what's going on for us while we gently tap on these specific acupressure points, these endpoints of our meridians. And this helps to release emotional blockages. If you have any experience with having had acupuncture, you know the way this works. We literally are creating an escape point for energy to flow. And so acupressure and acupuncture, both highly effective. And then when we pair it with speaking how we're feeling out loud, it really powerfully releases these emotional blockages, reduces stress, restores energy flow, and helps us tap into healing. So some more benefits of tapping. I'm just going to keep moving here. So stress reduction, emotional healing, anxiety and depression relief, self-empowerment, enhanced self-awareness, improved energy, increased emotional resilience, performance enhancement, and it's a complementary approach, like I said, to other traditional modalities. And you will get a copy of this PDF if you would like to look at these things more deeply. And then the benefits of a daily grounding practice. So just like Lynette shared that, when she takes the time for her morning practice, everything flows differently. Grounding is incredibly important, especially when we're feeling emotionally exhausted. When we're emotionally exhausted, when somebody tells me, these are the things that are happening for me, and I can tell that they're like at the end of their rope, it means that their energy is splayed way, 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 way out. They are not connected in the present moment. And in fact, sometimes it can feel really jarring and scary to be in the present moment if we don't want to look at what's actually happening for us. And so creating a gentle grounding practice, and I'm going to teach you one of the ways that I like to do this. We're going to go through one in just a few minutes here. But having a daily grounding practice where we're actually rooting in, I'm going to teach you to root into your own heart. Not only is that bringing your energy back into you, but it's connecting you with the truth of you, which is a soul in a body, right? A light in the center of this miraculous bag of bones that we are, right? By no conscious effort of our own, we have grown, our heart beats, our organs do their thing, right? And so just even spending a few moments a day being in this will help create stability and centering. It will reduce your stress. It will create emotional regulation. It will increase your energy and vitality. It will improve your clarity and focus, improve your sleep, enhance that body-mind connection, create emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is such a buzzword right now, and it's really great because it's like what I like to call your bounce back rate, your ability to navigate the challenges and the triggers in your life and not be consumed by them. So you kind of stay on top of the wave of life. You're riding the wave of life instead of being washed around in the washing machine. If anybody has surfed, you know, it's no fun to be in the washing machine. And we're often in the washing machine of life when we are not centered and grounded, body, heart, mind, and soul. And of course, it will improve your overall well-being. Okay, so let's have an experience. I'm going to stop share. I invite you. Are there any questions? Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, beautiful. So let's do this. I invite you to close your eyes as long as you're able. And if you don't want to close your eyes, I just invite you to allow your gaze to land down. I invite you to place your palms face up if you're sitting. If you're walking, that's okay. Just soften your gaze. And all right, so if you're able to have your palms face up, taking a gentle breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. On your next breath, I invite you to relax your shoulders back and down. Relax the forehead and the eyes. Relax the jaw and the tongue and the mouth. Relaxing the belly and the thighs and the calves. Relaxing your feet heavy on the floor or the ground below you. And I invite you now to know, see, sense, or feel that there are all these strands of energy that are coming off the top of your head and they're kind of waving all around. All these strands of energy that are waving around and they're stretched out. Some of them are far, 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 far. Some of them are like on the other side of the world, even. These invisible strands of energy. And one by one, with each breath, I invite you to just gently, with compassion, call those strands of energy like hair blowing in the wind to settle down, to come back, and to fall straight across your body. With each breath, bringing back more of these wayward strands, and they're just settling down like these long strands of hair. There's no breeze, there's nothing moving them. Almost like you've touched one of those, electrical spheres at Science World, and everything goes up on end, and you're just taking your hand off of that, and all those strands are settling down. Bringing all this energy back to you, calling back all these strands of energy And as they come back and they settle down, they begin to reach down and touch the earth below you. So almost like you're now cocooned in these strands of energy that are reaching down, 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 stretching all the way down through all the layers of rock and dirt, through water, through lava, just gently stretching down. And they connect in with the center of Mother Earth, instinctively and gently connect to her crystalline core. And just allow yourself to feel that support. And I invite you now in your next breath to take this breath in through the center of your heart. I want you to imagine that you can see or sense this heart, this beating heart, this organ that exists within your chest. This is not some elusive, imaginary, perfectly glowing heart-shaped heart within your chest. This is the slippery, the slimy, the pumping blood, the working hard, the workhorse organ that exists within the center of your chest. I want you to tune into that, this miracle of your heart, that by no conscious effort on your part, it beats, it pumps, it feeds your life. And on your next inhale into that beautiful heart of yours, I want you to breathe into it as if it were a lung. I want you to see it and feel it expanding on the in-breath and contracting on the X. Beautiful. And on your next inhale, I want you to notice that there's a spark of light in the center of your heart. And with each breath, your oxygen is fanning this light in your heart, and it's becoming bigger and brighter in the center. This is the light of what I call your soul self. This is the truth of who you are. This is the you that is connected to all things, to all beings, time, space, and dimensions. This is where you connect with your highest self, where you can hear your intuition more clearly, where you can know the next right step. And with each breath, I want you to just gently fill as much of your body as you can with this light. No judgment. No judgment if it stays just in the space of the heart, or if you can expand through the whole body in your energy field. Just be gentle. Beautiful. So you can come back to either of these meditations that I just combined, of calling this energy back and letting it sort of wrap down around you and center into Mother Earth. Or you can activate the light in your heart and just sit in the glow of your heart's light. Both of these are highly effective for a daily practice that will help you feel grounded and centered and supported and all those things. So how did that feel? Would anyone care to share? You can pop it in the chat. You can unmute. Hi, Angela. Okay. So we're going to move into some tapping now. Beautiful. Cool. So Rennie says very calming and relaxing. Perfect. That's what we're after. Lynette, beautiful. A warm, deep glow from my heart sent out to all my ventricles and blood. Amazing. Love that. So maybe show of hands. Yeah, Judy, you almost fell asleep. Very natural, right? Especially if we've been revving our emotional engine a lot. The body says, I need rest. I need rest. So that's super, super normal with meditation. Yeah, Rennie says, me too. Chantel, I definitely feel calmer, but was unable to get all the strands down. Some still seem strung up, but I did ground some of them. Some of them, perfect, right? Like this, again, is not about having more to do. It's about shifting what we do and why. And I'm going to invite you that this process takes radical self-compassion. The more gentle we are, one of the things I like to say to myself is, it's okay, Laura, you can step aside. Step aside. It's okay. Like, just let the energy take this and step aside. And sometimes I can't, right? Sometimes my mind says, no, I am not stepping aside. And I love and accept myself anyway. So let's move into some tapping, because the tapping is going to help us address any of those thoughts or feelings that come up about, let's say, not being able to get all those strands down. Maura says, my breathing feels more full now, more energizing. Yay. I love that. So, and Chantel, me too. Oh, so good. I love it. Thank you guys for all of your chats. I love this so much. Okay, so let's do some tapping. Who here is new to tapping? Is anybody new to tapping? So I am going to, you can watch me if you're new to tapping, and all you need to do is follow along. I like to say this is like Simon Says. We're in preschool again and we get to play. How awesome is that? And so you just repeat after me and follow along with my tapping points. So just for the sake of time, I'm just going to wing it. We're going to focus on this topic of emotional exhaustion. And we're going to do 3 rounds. Okay. So the first round, we need to voice out loud what's going on. And so a lot of people tend to be shocked on the first round. They're like, why am I saying these things? Why am I saying, like, I feel overwhelmed? I feel exhausted. Life feels freaking hard. Because we need to voice that out loud, because the frequency is running in the background anyway. So we need to acknowledge it. And then in the second round, we're able to begin playing with the idea of letting those go and bringing in forgiveness. And then in the third round, we're going to bring in some affirmations. And of course, when we tap in a more sort of intimate space where we can kind of get everybody's input, sometimes it's more than 3 rounds, sometimes it's less, right? And of course, when we're tapping one-on-one, like I do in my private practice, we can move all around. But just for the sake of this, we're going to do 3 rounds. Okay, any questions about that? Just pop in the chat. Okay, so let's tap. So we always start by tapping on the side of the hand. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I invite you to repeat after me, even though there are aspects of my life that feel overwhelming. Right here, right now, I'm okay. And I want to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I feel emotionally exhausted. I honor how much I've been carrying. And I deserve to accept myself anyway. even though I feel emotionally overwhelmed. And I feel this in my body. I accept my body and the way it's feeling anyway. Good job. Top of the head. It feels heavy. Eyebrow point. All of this exhaustion. Side of the eye. All this overwhelm. Underneath the eyes. I can't seem to shake it off. Underneath the nose. It feels like so much. Underneath the mouth that I wonder how I'm going to heal it. Collarbone point. I feel like I'm at a breaking point. Underneath the arms, like I don't have anything more to give. Underneath the chest, like I'm running on empty. Rest point, it just feels so hard. Top of the head, I feel exhausted. Eyebrow point, overwhelmed by my feelings. Side of the eye, and it's affecting my peace of mind. Underneath the eyes, and it feels really heavy. Underneath the nose, I honor myself for voicing this out loud. Underneath the mouth, and when I'm ready, collarbone point, I will find a way to let it go. Okay, so let's stop tapping, take a nice gentle breath. And I want you to keep your eyes closed and just notice on a scale of 0 to 10, how emotionally exhausted do you feel? And just take note of that number. I should have asked you that first, but we just dove in, and that's okay. And so let's go again on the side of the hand. Even though I still feel emotionally exhausted, I wonder if I could get curious about releasing some of this anyway. Even though there's a part of me that says, no way. It can't be this easy. I love this part of me anyway. And I give myself permission to get curious about shifting this. And even though I feel these emotions in my body, this tension in my jaw, this pressure in my head, this tightness in my shoulders, I honor my body and the way it's communicating. And I'm willing to get curious about shifting this anyway. Good job. Top of the head. All these discomforts in my body. Eyebrow point from holding all of this in. Side of the eye. I have the power to release it. Underneath the eyes. And the part of me that says, no, you don't. Underneath the nose. I let that part be here too. Underneath the mouth. And I send that part of me compassion. Collarbone point. But right here, right now. Underneath the arms. I deserve relief. Underneath the chest. And I deserve to create some space. Rest point. I choose to let go of this emotional overwhelm. Top of the head, I choose to relax. Eyebrow point, I choose to find a little glimmer of peace. Side of the eye, releasing this emotional overwhelm. Underneath the eyes and opening up to receive support. Underneath the nose, opening up to receive support. Underneath the mouth, I'm open to being supported. Collarbone point, I am open to letting this go. Okay, so let's take a nice gentle breath there. And with your eyes closed, I want you to just tune in again. What is that level of emotional overwhelm that you're feeling? How is your body feeling? Give it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. And so the reason why we rate this is because we want to be moving that number down. And of course, being patient and compassionate along the way. Because as that number moves down, it means we're creating space. And there's a universal law called the law of vacuum. And so we don't want to fill this space back up with what was there before. We want to be really intentional to fill it up with more of what we want. And so if you've gone from like a 9 to a 3, that means, ooh, we've got, what's the math on that? Six points worth of space to fill, right? Okay, so we're going to go straight to the top of the head. And we're going to say this. It's okay that I have been feeling emotionally exhausted. Eyebrow point. I accept my past. Side of the eye, and I release its grip on me now even more. Underneath the eyes, and in its place, I choose to embrace peace. Underneath the nose, I deserve to feel calm and centered. Underneath the mouth, I deserve to feel capable of what comes my way. Collarbone point, I choose to trust in my ability. Underneath the arms, to find calm and peace. Underneath the chest, balance and power. Wrist point as I go through my life. Top of the head, I am more resilient than I give myself credit for. Eyebrow point, my bounce back rate is increasing. Side of the eye, I release the need to control everything. Underneath the eyes, I release the need to be everything to everyone. Underneath the nose, and I allow my life to flow with ease now. Underneath the mouth, it's safe for me to embrace this present moment. Collarbone point, it's safe for me to find joy in the simple pleasures. Underneath the arms, letting go of all that no longer serves me. Underneath the chest and standing in the light of my heart instead. And now let's tap on the side of the hand again. And we're going to say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Okay, good job. So let's take a nice deep breath. If you have some water, take a sip. And I want you to check in one last time on how you're feeling now. What feels possible now that maybe didn't feel possible before? And you just notice that. And if you want to write down any notes in your journal, now would be a good time. If you have any questions or you want to share, now's a good time for that too. We'll just take 1 minute here and then we'll finish up. Oh, I love that, Lynette. It feels like little miracles are on the way, feeling light and shoulders are loose and free. Yay! So good. Little miracles on the way. That is beautiful. Maura, can you mention again the process of movement through tapping? No, what do you mean, Maura? Like how the energy moves when we're tapping? And you can always unmute yourself too. Oh, the beginning. So yeah, so like the first round of tapping, we tap on the quote unquote negative. So how you're actually feeling. You give yourself permission to voice it out loud. The second round of tapping, we begin to introduce the concept of, well, maybe I could get curious about shifting, or maybe I could play with the idea of seeing this through new eyes. Maybe I could bring in some forgiveness around how I've been feeling. And then the third round of tapping is like that affirmative, higher vibey sort of like, I am shifting this now. I deserve to feel free. I deserve to feel calm and safe, excited, blah, blah, blah. And so that's when we bring in our affirmations in that third round. Is that what you were asking? Does that help? Okay, cool. Awesome. Chantel says, I feel lighter and taller. What does it mean if different tapping points are more sensitive? It can mean a whole variety of things. And my invitation to you is to not need to understand what it means. Like really and truly. If there's a point that feels more sensitive, tap more lightly, or you can skip it all together and just do, longer taps on the next point. We were such meaning making machines and we were like, oh, I want to know what this means. But what if instead we said, oh, thank you, body, for telling me that something here feels sensitive. I love you for that. Thank you for showing me that. And I'm going to be tender with you. I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to keep tapping here if it feels too sensitive. Thank you. And I honor you. Yeah. So if you like that, boom, then stay there. Right? Oh, thank you, body, for telling me that you like it when I tap on this point. So I'm going to honor that. And if you want, so one of my favorite things to do, if you've done tapping with me before in the past, I love to talk to the body. Like for me, that what you've described here is what I call a golden nugget. It's so like I would tap on that part of the body and I would connect in with the energy and I would notice, is there a color, a shape, a size, a name, a sound, a word, an image? And I would just connect and I'd be there and I would say things to it in my mind, like, I'm here with you. What do you want me to know? Tell me what you want me to know. Oh, my whole body like shivers when I feel into that. Right. So it's like your body is communicating with you and it's really wanting to tell you something. So instead of using the mind to say like, what does it mean? Connect with that part of you, talk to that part of you. Right. Hi, Chantel. Nice to see you. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to finish up with our workshop today. We are almost done. So, and if anybody would like to share anything else or any questions, just unmute yourself. I'm always here for it. I love jamming on all this stuff. So next steps. So remember that overcoming emotional exhaustion, it's a journey, it's a process. And again, it's not about doing more, it's about shifting what we're doing. It's about spending Oh, good. Lynette, I'm so happy. Yay. She said, I felt connected with my body. Awesome. It's about noticing places in our lives where we're giving too much energy or energy is being drained, and we're simply bringing it back and redirecting it. This process is meant to be, we're meant to be patient, compassionate, right? As we create this change. And then of course, there is an action to this, right? There is an inspired action, and there's a commitment to replenish your emotional resources so that you do have a greater capacity to handle stress, manage emotions, and experience a deeper level of fulfillment, of well-being, of happiness, of joy, of peace, of liberation. Insert your an adjective here. So I would love to share with you a little bit about a new offering that I've created. It's called Revival, Emotional Vitality on Tap. So this is a 3-part experiential workshop series. And experiential means we're doing. We're doing in the workshop. You're not just listening, we're experiencing. And what's really cool about this workshop is we are going to be recording these segments of the experiential workshops. And then at the end, I'm going to create all of those into individual audios, and you're going to get the whole library. So it's like emotional vitality on tap, which means you always have something to turn to. And so through this 3-part series, you're going to overcome emotional overwhelm and unlock emotional freedom. That's unlikely to happen in the 3 sessions, right? This is a commitment. This is a shifting what you're doing and how you're doing it. But you are going to have everything you need to create your own simple daily practice. And this is something we're going to do in the workshop to move from emotional overwhelm to emotional freedom. So what's in it for you? I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but overcoming emotional overwhelm, right? Increasing your vitality and energy, enhancing your emotional resilience, cultivating stability and balance, experiencing emotional fulfillment. Think about how much better you feel now than when you did when you came on this call. And all we did was we did a little grounding and centering. We activated the heart, and we did a little bit of tapping. It's that easy, but it takes commitment, right? Just like Lynette shared, when she gets up in the morning and she does this, it makes a huge difference. But when we let that slide, that's when other things tend to slide in our lives too. Oops. So improved well-being and mental health. You'll gain flexibility in the way that you emotionally respond to your life. You will create lasting change. You'll be connected with a supportive community. And we know that community is everything right now. And there's a special limited time offer right now of half price. So it's only $97 for Revival. So how fun is that name too? I was so excited when I came up with this. Revival, Emotional Vitality on Tap. So like I said, we will be creating a living library of resources that you can incorporate into your daily emotional vitality practice, AKA you'll have what you need on tap. So I already said all these things. I'm going to parcel out those recordings. You're going to have lifetime access. And I've never done anything like this before. And so I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really cool and really powerful. And so for the next 6 days, it's only $97. Whether you can be live or you need to watch on the replay, it's okay, because you're going to have this for your lifetime. Because I know it's summertime, it can be tricky. But the workshops are going to happen. Oops, I didn't put the dates here, but Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Not next week, but the week after. So what are those dates? July 18th, 19th, and 20th. And if you want to learn more about it, you can simply pull up your phone, open your camera. Let's see if this works. I actually didn't even check this. And scan the QR code. And it should just come right up. Oh my gosh, technology. How freaking cool is that? It totally works. I love it. They're at 10 o'clock in the morning, Rennie. They're at 10 o'clock. Yeah, 18th, 19th, and 20th, an hour each day, 10 to 11 in the morning. So like I said, when I offer this again, it will be more expensive for sure, but I want to play and I want to experiment in this. So I hope that you will come. Yeah, it's so cool that it works. I love that so much. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to spend this time with you. I, as you know, love, love, love being in workshop with people. Yay! I'm so happy, Rennie. Awesome. I love that. Yay! One person's in with me. Amazing. We're gonna have so much fun. Um, I have some really cool things that I have been experimenting with for myself that I'm going to share with you guys. Oh, awesome, Maura. I'm so happy. You're so welcome, Judy. Yay. Um, yeah, like I've just been in this my own deep place of my own transformation and growth. And so I have lots of cool new things that I want to share with you. And the cool thing about this format is you're going to take what works for you, right? So I want to give you lots of options, and then you are going to piece out what works for you, because what works for one person is not necessarily going to be the same thing for the other. I also envision us creating many tapping scripts as well, so that you have those tapping audios at your fingertips. Chantel says, I will be participating live because I need to make myself a morning routine because I don't really foresee the stresses in my life changing anytime soon. So it's up to me to change the way I react to them. This is it. It's up to us to change the way we react to the triggers in our lives. I was resistant to a morning routine for a very long time. I had a really hard time getting up early in the morning. I was a self-professed night owl. And now I relish my morning time. And when I choose sleeping in, I notice a difference, right? But it's not going to be morning for everybody. It can also be evening. It can be evening, and that will carry through to the morning. So these are all things that we're going to talk about in Revival, so that you can begin experimenting with creating a emotional vitality on tap routine that really works for you. Thanks, Lynette. Me too. I was pretty excited. It's like, oh, this is it. All right, you guys are amazing. Thank you so, so much for being here. I'm happy to stay on for a minute if anybody has any questions. I will turn off the recording. Yay, me too, Rennie. I'm so glad. Yes, building a routine. You are so welcome, Lynette. If you want to stay on, have a chat, please do so. Maura, you're so welcome. If you need to get going, bye, Lynette. Thank you for being here. I'm going to stop the recording. Okay. Yes, tapping scripts are so helpful to have. Absolutely.